What's going on, YouTube? We got another playback reaction. It's a little unk my fault. I'm hot, bro. See, already starting off bad. A feminist enables force, abuse claims in the dumbest way possible, man. Roll to a band, like, video, comment, subscribe. The last playback reaction will be at the end of the video. Stay tuned for that if you enjoy this one, man. Yeah, man, let's get into it. I fucked up already, man. I'm fucking up today.
Boys now, they are so terrified of the consequences of putting a foot out of line. It's hard enough being a young teenager, working out how things are, working out how to do dating and all of that, without the terror that if you touch in the wrong place at the wrong time, you may find that your whole life is destroyed.
I
and there
like
is
that
far
terror.
too much. Well,
I like that.
As a mother of a teenage boy, I don't like that terror.
That's the most malicious thing I've ever heard.
That is awful.
I think that men should be frightened
I think
to
you'd
touch
feel
women in a way
differently
that
if you
they're
were,
not comfortable with.
But we're talking about
Yeah, but
teenage
we're not talking
years.
about.
Wow.
Wow, that's wow. Wow.
I don't like to make assumptions myself. But I'm glad she just was bold enough to say it.
That was actually very refreshing.
Yes,
she just said it.
because usually there's like an undertone of that,
Yeah.
but it's never said.
Yeah.
But she just said it.
Wow.
Huh.
Playback, I'm actually thrown aback by what she just said right there. I'm actually, wow.
It makes me happy that she said it, actually.
Yes, I am too, so we can actually have real dialogue.
Yes.
Hey, just give me a second. Wow, that was so refreshing.
So she sees value in terror.
Yes.
Interesting.
See, this is the problem when, because, and this is like the theme of 2022, if y'all been watching this channel all year long. If not, go catch up on the videos. But I've consistently asked the question, who gives these people the right to be the morality police? Where they just go around setting these rules and standards in place to determine what is right or wrong. And when you do try to abide by that ideology where you're just handing out and allocating the policies of morality to these people, what you end up finding is that the same people who claim that other people take the power and they go way beyond the means and their decisions are no longer justified because they allow power to corrupt them, they end up being corrupt by power as well. So here she is, willing to openly admit, I am happy that they're terrified. They need to be terrified. Like, to not even acknowledge the damage that they could do to just having healthy relationships with one another is crazy. Like, the fact that you don't even acknowledge that. You rather there be a subsection of people who are terrified to interact with someone else, and you think that that's going to bridge healthy relationships with one another?
But not even like adults, though.
Like kids. Yes.
A kid has to... Because let's be clear, in any sort of like sexual relationship, there's a lot that's unsaid.
Yes.
And the unsaid stuff is usually filled in with assumptions based on previous history. So like when it's acceptable to put your hand on her leg, when it's acceptable to make the next move, when it's, did I say the right thing here? There's so much of it that's assumed that if someone's very inexperienced, you can expect them to and just move in a way where they fuck up. It's like, oh, I didn't know you weren't comfortable. Oh. You mean to tell me that like a 13-year-old kid, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid, they like deserve to be in terror? Because she's talking about her child here. She's like, my son, my son that's a teen, and she's like, yeah, they need to be in terror.
I'm not talking about.
We're talking about
it's an
young
interesting
children.
thing that you see. I would say that attitude actually is part of the problem too. That's to me toxic femininity.
It is.
That is saying you should all be terrified, you men, if you put one.
Of assaulting.
Well, I think we all understand what sexual
What is
assault
an
is.
assault?
What Isabel's talking about is that young teenage clumsiness
Really
in many
hard.
cases, which is now being recategorized as assault. Is that a problem?
It's not being recategorized as assault. It's always been assault. It's just we're finally talking about it.
I don't agree with that.
That's
But
ridiculous.
Teenage boy fumbling with
touch
teenage
on
girl
the
is
knee.
not
Not
is
even
not
that.
in most cases assault, is
Do
it?
you remember Aziz Ansari, right? Half the heels of Me Too, half the heels of Harvey Weinstein, rightly being dragged through the courts and should have got way worse than just prison time, in my opinion. Aziz Ansari had a consensual relationship with a woman. She felt a bit awkward, and afterwards rescinded consent, and he was lumped in, and he had his
No,
career
I'm with you on that
largely
one.
cancelled.
I'm with
So
you.
then why should men be afraid of that?
Because he didn't touch her without consent, did he?
No, but she
But
rescinded his consent, and
how are
she...
you?
Bro, you're not even listening to what she, and this is the frustrating part about it, because at the end of the day, the thing that really bothers me with a lot of these conversations also, out of one, like as a man, speaking from a man in this world, there is a handful of things us as men know almost universally. One of which is not to physically harm, even in a sexual manner, women and children. We know that. We know that. Like, that's a thing that we know. Now, does everybody exercise that? Of course not, because unfortunately, we have some sick niggas out here. But we all know that. So this idea idea that it needs to be just pounded in our head so much so that we fear interactions with women is crazy. That is absurd. But if I go across, if I can meet a man I've never seen a day in my life, and he and I will both know the underlying consensus in this world about how we are supposed to treat women and children in those circumstances. So for her to act as if like, that needs to happen, because I don't think they understand what's really going on. So even if she rescinds it, like, what are we talking about right now?
How do you rescind consent? Just think about applying that to any other context. You sign a contract, you decide the next day you didn't want to sign it, but now it's legally binding. You can't rescind it. You can't even do that with a marriage. Like any other time you're giving your consent for anything, you can't rescind it without some form of amendment, right? But that amendment has to be signed by both parties. You can't just regret it after the fact and then make someone else responsible for the hurt you're feeling. Instead, you should be in tune with yourself. Know when the fuck you wanna and don't wanna do something.
I'm about to say,
and if you're worried about like maybe, don't do it.
Don't do it then.
Don't do it. And if you're a guy and she looks like a maybe, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because it is not worth the bullshit that could come after it, bro.
But also, as a man, like, as women out there, I can definitely sympathize with you and understand where you live in a world where you may.
My young kings, let the poom poom fall into your hands, kings. Some knowledge from Unky, I promise you, worse. Like, yo, king, like, just. From say like you gonna feel great, really like you gonna feel great, okay? Cause you just gonna be chilling like. she gonna be get on you like what's going on? Like, oh, that's what you want? You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, Kings. Some Unky knowledge. I promise you, like, you just be smooth with it, keep it calm, keep it cool, man. Just chill out.
Pressure to do certain things that you don't want to do in those interactions, but at the end of the day, until you feel confident about who you are sexually wise, you should not be presenting yourself in that manner to put yourself in a situation where you're fumbling back and forth with consent, so much so where even after the act you may feel comfortable enough to take it back, because at that point everybody's at risk.
3 sons in their 20s. I've always taught them to be respectful to women. I believe they are. But I do think it's really hard for a 16, 17-year-old boy now in this environment to know even how to start
they are all
having
terrified.
some kind of physical relationship with a woman.
Those good boys are all terrified. I know that from talking to my son. He's just like, I'm just not going there. Is that healthy?
Yes, I think it is, actually. I think it's better to not have a physical relationship than to have one that could ruin a woman's life.
But then how do they ever start?
What?
Well, don't. If you're not 100% sure,
are we going
don't.
What are you going to have, a bunch of neutered boys who never
it's
had...
so obvious.
That's like saying, that's like the
Ooh,
equivalent of saying, Marcel, let's bring it to
chat.
basketball. Don't even take the shot if you're not 100% sure you're not gonna be successful. You want them to never
just take
try?
it to another thing. Driving a car. Don't drive a car unless you're 100% sure that you're able to, like, you're confident. Like, no, bro,
Like,
you have
gotta
to do
learn.
it, bro.
It's a
You
thing
have
to
to-
navigate, and everyone's
my
first
God.
times is difficult because you're not quite sure what the right decision is.
This is also from a perspective of somebody who doesn't want to be sympathetic or empathetic
At all.
to the other side as well. Like, not even acknowledging as a man that we live in a society where men are expected to take the first step in the interactions of any type of encounter with women. And so with that, especially when you're dealing in this environment, yes, how the hell is he supposed to know? But you're not even willing to listen to the logic that stems from. That's crazy. Yeah, she's removing all human element or emotion, or all of that is being removed 100%. Just wait, 100%. Like, that doesn't exist. When does that ever exist? Actually, you know what? Nigga, I'm almost 30. That still don't exist, nigga.
Yeah.
When does that ever exist? It only exists if you're in a relationship for an extended period of time. But even then, it don't 100% is crazy. It's never been, how often has it been where you and your partner 100% on the same, yeah, we fucking tonight? How often does that happen? I'm talking about like at 5 p.m., you know, yeah, when it get about 9 o'clock-ish, we both fucking tonight. How often does that happen? Unless it's a long-term relationship.
Scheduling it is crazy. But
No,
yeah,
I'm not scheduled. You know what I'm
right.
talking about? Like, we both know we in the mood, gonna get to that point by the end of the night type shit.
Yeah, that's just
Nigga, that don't happen, nigga.
10 p.m. Be in bed.
Yeah.
No clothes.
Because I know for a fact, I know where this night is going right now. You know it too? All right, so we both here. We both locked on.
She do have that. Gen Z is having far less sexual relationships than any ever
they
before.
are, it's true.
And
young people have stopped having sex.
I agree with the first part of your sentence, actually. If you're not willing to have a sexual relationship with clearly defined lines, don't have one. And so I actually told my mates at university, don't sleep around with girls. 1, girls don't bring a guy home that you don't know what he's capable of. 2, guys, don't bring a girl home if you think that possibly she could have a false accusation against you.
How the fuck are you supposed to know that? We're fortune tellers?
I know you can't tell that, but look at her in the face. She's like, again, all this in theory sounds great.
How the fuck are you supposed to know if someone's gonna lie?
You don't know that.
Nigga, people be in business for like 2 decades together and get bamboozled. Niggas be in 30-decade million relationships,
bro,
find out she cheated.
I just hate.
How are you supposed to know?
I just hate the concept in which these people are living, because like
How are you supposed to
everything
know?
they're saying sounds so fucking inexperienced. You niggas sound like virgins right now. That's what they sound like people who never
How are you
actually
supposed to
experienced.
know?
You don't know.
You trusted her with your whole
Karma is a smart shopping app that saves you so much money, it will blow your mind.
with your heart. She broke the shit. How are you supposed to know?
No, you
And
never
this someone you
know,
loved.
bro.
How are you supposed to know, bro?
You don't know. You don't know.
Right, you never really know, man.
You're just guessing based off of the cues that are given to you.
Now, you could have said something like,
'Cause
have some framework in place so that you're not just bringing anyone into your life. There's no way to
You
know
don't
if
know.
someone's gonna make a fake act.
Bro.
Who the fuck would know and still do it?
Again, women are trying their hardest not to come across as like, you know, as fast, risque, and sluts. And men are trying to come across as somebody who's not a fucking loser who can't get no pussy. Like that's literally what it come down to, bro. And so now everybody's like fucking playing chess with one another all night long, trying to make sure they make the right fucking moves.
She knows she wants to fuck, but she can't do it off the rip. You gotta
Yeah.
watch a TV show first,
Yeah.
and then get a little close and watch another
We
episode.
gonna have to do Netflix first because I ain't gonna give it up too quick.
But then you gotta say some shit like, "Damn, it's late. You can drive back now. Just stay tonight."
And then they gotta continue to rizz up like, no, come over here real quick. Why you always over there? Come over.
Tell y'all young kings, vibe out, like, nah, don't be on some weird shit. Like, you feel me, cuddle up, shorty, like, for me, shorty laying on you and all that. Yeah, that's calm, but don't feel me, you don't gotta make it, just vibe out, tell you shit. She will be like, nah, what's going on? But it's gonna get lit for you, K. I'm telling you, you gonna have a great. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he think I'm gonna give it up soon. Nah, not that quick. I'm gonna get over there though, but not that quick. Like, nigga, what are we doing, bro?
Can I make another point here?
Which I
think-
find, I mean, look, that
What?
sentence to me, when I was your age, right? How old are you?
23.
23. When I was your age, the idea you would even have that sort of thought process.
Yeah, I
would
wouldn't
be
have those sort of
unthinkable.
mates that would ever cross the line, so I wouldn't have to have that
I never
conversation
said my
with any
mates.
of my friends.
Don't throw my mates in with a bunch of violent people.
And is there a
That's-
certain purity here I'm detecting in a certain type of feminist who thinks that they're all unimpeachable and that this is all one-way traffic and that
quite.
only men can be toxic?
No, I
Because I've
don't think
got to
that.
enlighten you. I've met quite a few women in my life who are pretty toxic themselves, and I don't
Absolutely.
see the debate being framed around that at all.
No, but the point is that we're still in a situation where only 5% of rape cases actually even go to trial.
Which is ridiculous.
But that's the
Right.
extreme end of it,
Yeah.
isn't
The
it?
idea-
You're talking
but
about
I'm
rape
talking
here.
about-
David, we can all agree that's wrong. We can all agree that's wrong.
But okay, so even on the extreme end of it, rape doesn't even go to trial. If you're assaulted, and that is life changing.
Yeah.
What happened to Rose McGowan
Yeah.
with Harvey
I
Weinstein?
know Rose well.
Was
Yeah, but
life
these are extreme
changing, and
things.
she didn't get her comeuppance.
Yeah, but
She
Ava, we'd
lost
all
her
agree about
career.
that. Well, I think what has sent a shudder through all of our spines from your mouth today is the line that all young men should be terrified of any physical
assaulting
contact. Well, no, you didn't say it like
didn't
that.
say that.
You said basically of starting any physical contact with a
Unless
woman.
you're sure.
Well,
Unless
how
you're
does a
sure.
16,
How can
17-year-old
you
boy
be sure
know?
when she can rescind consent on something completely nebulous?
Okay, can I ask you this? If you were going to take someone to bed and you weren't 100% sure that they wanted to go to bed with you, would you go with
No,
them?
I would not do that.
Then
But the
that's what
point
I'm
was,
talking
Aziz
about.
Ansari was sure, for example, and then later she went and published a long piece
Right.
about how she regretted it and lumped him in with Harvey Weinstein.
I mean,
Is that okay?
Ava,
Ava, do you feel
Thank
any of it, Ava's gone too far? Do you think the pendulum has gone too far at all?
No. No, I
She
don't.
doesn't. Of course she doesn't. She's the one pushing the
I'm
pendulum.
gonna say, what the hell?
She's the pendulum
She's thinking
pusher.
that it's not far enough.
No, you need to go further.
She
You need to go
thinking that
further.
16-year-olds should be afraid to interact with women, girls who are not 100% sure, nigga. Nigga, come on, bro. Come on. Nobody at 16 was 100% sure about anything, nigga. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna wear to school the next day when I was 16, let alone how I was gonna get some pussy, nigga. What are we talking about, bro? What are we? Nigga, I wasn't sure about the multiple choice question on the quiz. What are we talking about, bro?
Yeah, bro. She lives in her head, and in her head, this shit makes sense. But she doesn't live in real life, and she doesn't care about the people that these words are going to impact at all.
At all, bro.
She don't give a fuck, man. Yeah, if that's your mom and you're, bro.
If you're a boy trying to go into a man, and this is the rhetoric that she's teaching you,
Yeah, you're not
you
gonna
will
make it.
you will immediately start to realize, especially when you go out to college, that she just has no grasp on like how dating interactions work with a man.
Bro,
she just has literally none.
We all agree with her on the fucking points she's making.
everybody-
But we agree when she says rape, we're like, obviously. Of course.
Of course.
No one is going to disagree with you. Assault, stop. Stop. Don't do it. If you're not sure, you don't have consent, don't do the shit. If you don't have consent, don't do the thing.
But she's believing that again, and I don't know why some women do this. They act as if like men aren't already taught those things. So when these clumsy, mistaken situations occur, it's occurring with the man already being cautious of how he's moving. He's already 9 times out of 10, he's probably already being cautious of what he is doing, and it still ended up in this clumsy mistake that he didn't even mean to make. That's what's really happening. We gonna make sure that you make a step like, all right, cool. Is that cool? All right, cool. Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool. I'll put my hand right here. Oh, then she moved her leg. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple steps back. That's how men.
The word King, I've been through that stage too, you know what I'm saying? That was a very young unky, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even like how it felt, you know what I'm saying? It ain't feel right, you know what I'm saying? You gotta ask for like that. You like, nah, don't really do it like that, dude. I'm telling y'all. I got the ways, yeah.
Think, as a man, if I put my hand on a woman's leg and I'm thinking we cool and she moves her leg, even if she didn't mean to, I mean, immediately thinking of like, damn, I guess that's not the vibe right now. All right, that's not the vibe.
No, I don't think it's gone far enough, actually.
Really?
I don't think we've brought anything into schools. To your point, we haven't brought any teaching into school about what is assault, what isn't. If you're worried about like 16-year-old boys not understanding what it is, bring in sexual health lessons. Teach it.
The idea that you can teach rapists not to rape is insane because they already know.
What do you mean?
That it's illegal. Okay, right. You're saying if boys wouldn't know what's assault and what isn't.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. The idea that rather than taking the power out of someone who can make a false accusation is what they're actually, most of them are concerned about. Specifically, my friends, for example, who would never dream of doing something like that. But then what the feminists fail to understand is you can educate evils. Did you not?
You could go to Grainger.com to find what you need to get the job done.
Yo, that's crazy.
Grainger, supplies and solutions for every industry.
Are you a feminist? Like, she must be a feminist, so she took offense to that. That's what it is, man.
To save a life.
Did you yes, you, the feminist.
You're a feminist.
The same way they called him the conservative. They put you in a fucking group,
But she is a feminist. I don't know why the fuck that triggered you. Out of all the things that's been said today, that being the trigger word for you. It's insane, man.
After the shit you just said about his friends.
Identify yourself as a feminist study?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, okay, sorry. Piers
You're not
did,
a
so
feminist?
then that's...
But Piers labelled
me. Actually, I called you a toxic feminist.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Fair enough. But you cannot, if a rapist is willing to violate the law so violently, you cannot teach him out of that. All you can have is very harsh punishments to deter
No, because you're talking about the grey line, and the grey line is at parties of not understanding that when...
Oh, no, rape, there's no grey line there. Everyone knows not to do it. There's no grey.
That's what I'm saying. She thinks that men are not taught those things. I'm telling you.
She thinks the issue is as simple as like people don't know not to do that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, that's what they think. They don't think. I'm telling you, bro. I can go across the country right now, meet a man I've never ever seen in my life, and out of all the things we could disagree on, there's gonna be a few things we will agree on, and this will be one of them. So like, and I can never speak and be older than me.
I'm saying, I know the other countries, they definitely don't play that. I know, for me, I know I got a lot of people from across the seas and shit, yeah, don't play that women and children shit. Come on now. You niggas know.
me, different religion, different race, it doesn't matter. Can grow up completely different than I do. There's gonna be a couple of things we agree on, and it's gonna be one of them.
A woman is so inebriated that she can't stand up. Boys need to understand that is
Well, that's a different
Now
line.
you're
That's a completely
bringing in
different line.
something else. Ava, I would like
Yeah.
to know whether you accept that women, and particularly teenage girls and young women, sometimes give out pretty mixed signals. They give out mixed messages. They're not even sure what they want at any given time.
I think we're victim blaming.
I don't think
I think
that's
we're- I
victim
think
blaming.
Bum off.
Men deal with it too. Women are not the only ones that deal with assaults.
Boy, I'm telling you,
rape.
bro.
Men are not the only.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you,
She
bro.
can't accept it.
She can't accept it,
In
bro.
her world, girls and women could do no wrong, and the conversation cannot move forward as long as she can't come to reality.
And what's crazy is the gray line that they're talking about. That is a much bigger problem than she probably realized. Is that there's mixed communication, bad, just all around bad communication, mixed signals, uncertainty between both parties that leads into that conclusion that is occurring, where somebody feels violated or they regret a moment that they had with somebody else. A lot of it is just miscommunication and uncertainty. That's what a lot of times it is. And so for her not to just accept that is going to occur, especially when you're talking about 16, 17, even 16 to 22-year-olds, nigga. What are we talking about? What are we talking about, bro?
She's like, nah, they always give great communication, never falter.
And everybody's 100% sure on the next move that they want to make. Even though these are all scenarios that they have little to no experiences with, they know exactly what move they want to make next. Man, shut up, bro. No, they don't. They're fucking 18-year-olds. They're 22-year-olds, bro.
But like the funny thing is not many people think like her, and you know that because just regular human beings can easily dunk on her shitty philosophy because it doesn't track. None of it is practical. It's all in her fucking head, and she's so one-sided in this argument that she's the only person that can't see it. Everyone else in the room is like, really? You don't even want to admit that a 14-year-old might give out a mixed signal. You think that they're like flawless in their communication. Really? All right. You can't expect nobody to be perfect. I think that's the point she's missing. But beyond all of that, just having empathy for people that you don't share a lot in common with, I think is also very important because she liked that tremendously, and it shows in the way she was willing to speak about people that she didn't give a fuck about. Just have more empathy, even if you can't understand him. Like, at least the mom understood because she has a son. The guy understood because he probably been through the shit. But she just didn't even try to understand. I think that lack of empathy went far. And, you know, Pierce hit a home run bringing her on the show because it's not too often you get to take that atrocious you can just dissect for comedy. And at the end of the day, a lot of people look at stuff like this as entertainment because it's not productive. And it can't be productive as long as you continue to have bad faith arguments. But
and not only that, the overarching premise of all of this is that women like her and thought processes like that are the reason why, ironically enough, people like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate and all of this manosphere, that's why a lot of this is picked up over the past 2 to 3 years, because in some instances, yes, the pendulum has swung too far. You've isolated a group of men who legitimately needed some guidance in navigating throughout the world, and instead of actually understanding where they're coming from, even if you don't really care too much of trying to find a solution, at least acknowledging that they exist. But when you isolate them, then you just get much more extreme versions of people that you don't want to exist in the first place. So you end up being a much bigger part of the problem than you probably realize. Idiot! I didn't yell enough in this one. So.
Bozo! Hey, let us know in the comment section down below what y'all think, man. Otherwise, we do have a big join button or click the top link in the description.
That's the end of this video, y'all. The last playback reaction will be right here. Make sure you click that motherfucker. Yeah, she's trying, bro. Whatever, bro. I don't really care about this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Road to the bin. Like, comment, subscribe. Someone wants me to react to next, man. Mario.
I'm gonna cover the camera. Nigga, who remember when I used to cover the camera? Like, niggas don't even know about that. Like, only the real members know when I used to really